Hey, Dr. Lupo, make any new discoveries yet?
Some new Star Wars residual.
Oh no.
I've never actually done any sort of Mandela proof stories because there's just so many on the internet. It didn't seem like something I needed to add to.
Well, that's probably a good idea. You probably shouldn't have added anything.
I discovered some residual left over about Star Wars, which a lot of you guys already know about and have heard 1,000 times, but you might not have seen these examples, and I think I have some of the best examples yet.
So basically, residual is something that is left over from a previous timeline or dimension or whatever that crosses into the current time we're in now. That's what the Mandela Effect believers say. But I don't think, Doc, that you have any new evidence or residuals because they simply don't exist. There's no evidence, and residual is basically just you forgetting something incorrectly or not understanding how it really was or why something would be the way it is.
I'm at Fun Spot, the world's largest arcade, and I'm going to see if I can find some Mandela Effect residual in some old games.
Jesus, man, what happened to your cat? Where'd he go? Well, I'm sorry, but you're still not going to find any residuals with or without the cat.
I kind of struck out all over the place at first. I saw like the Addams Family pinball machine and it spelled the new way, and I was like, I guess that got changed. And of course I found the Monopoly guy, I found the pinball machine, and that got changed. So, and there's like some money push machines and of the Monopoly guy, and he doesn't have his monocle, that got changed.
Well, it's no wonder you struck out all over the place, Dr. Lupo. The Addams Family simply can be explained with you not remembering how to correctly spell it, and you wouldn't let your ego take a hit by simply saying, oh, I just forgot how to spell it. So you're blaming it on the Mandela Effect. And with the Monopoly guy, the reason you remember him with a monocle is probably because Mr. Peanut, I'll throw a picture of him up on the screen, he also wore a top hat and had a cane, but he had a monocle. And you're just confusing the top hat wearing cane holders with each other. It's pretty simple, but you just can't let your ego take that big of a hit that you, the Dr. Lupo, forgot something. Are you even a doctor anymore?
Until I thought, maybe I should check the Star Wars machines.
Oh no, here we go.
And they have the sit-down one where you can actually sit down in it, and it's pretty fun. I really like it. And then they have the stand-up one.
Yeah, the stand-up one and the sit-down one. Those games, the standing up and sitting down, totally know what you're talking about.
The trilogy one that came out, and it's like on an old cruddy projection screen, and the logo's kind of burnt into the screen because it's so old. So unfortunately the quality's not that great, but I did manage to catch some scenes where you're playing this video game and you're going through Hoth, and all of a sudden C-3PO runs out, and guess what? C-3PO has 2 gold legs, not 1. And I thought to look at the pinball machines, and lo and behold, the pinball machine from Star Wars, guess what color C-3PO's legs are? Yeah, both gold. So we got the video games matching up with the old reality because they're all old. I think everything was before 1998.
Okay, so now we get into the Star Wars stuff. So basically he shows us 2 old games, both from before 1988 according to him, and they both clearly look like they were before 1988. And the fact that C-3PO's legs are gold in both of them, he believes is product of the Mandela Effect, but it's simply not. In 2000, in order to understand why his legs are gold, you're going to need to understand the way canon is handled in the Star Wars franchise. So in 2000, the Star Wars Holocron Continuity Database was created to kind of streamline all the canon, and basically canon is anything that is relevant in the story. They created it to allow people to know what is canon and what isn't canon, what qualifies as non-canon, what qualifies as canon, and to remove anything that might be canon breaking. that sort of thing. In fact, in Star Wars games such as Battlefront, even as far back as the one from 2005, I know at least the 2017 and 2015 Battlefronts have this. When the character dies in multiplayer, a hero, they kneel down on the ground and surrender. They don't die because Lucasfilm says that would be canon breaking if the characters were to die. So that's how far Lucasfilm goes to ensure nothing breaks canon. But before that, before the Holocron continuity database was a thing, believe it or not, Star Wars wasn't strict with what was canon and what wasn't canon and what was created, what wasn't. So something like this, the first game you showed with C-3PO having 2 gold legs, that probably got passed through LucasArts because they didn't care at the time. There was a game that came out in 93 called Star Wars Rebel Assault, and it has a character in it named Rookie 1, and he does a Death Star run in the game, and it's supposed to be part of the story of the game. But clearly, he's not the guy who does the Death Star run in the movie. It's Luke, but the two stories can't coexist. The New Hope version of the Death Star run and the Rebel Assault version of the Death Star run, they're just incompatible. But the fact that that's in the game and isn't in the movie doesn't mean we remember the movie incorrectly. It means that there was a time when expanded universe, games, books, all that wasn't as heavily scrutinized as it is today, and that's why that game has him running with the gold leg. As for the pinball machine, it can probably be explained with it looks as if it is a drawing or like somebody redrew the picture from the movie, and considering that pinball machine looks really old, a lot older than the shooting game. It probably was when people couldn't really tell that his legs were 2 different colors because of the low quality of, VHS and all that. So the guy probably, and obviously you wouldn't even know it was silver if you weren't looking for it. If you go out to some random guy on the street and say, "Hey, what color is C-3PO's leg?" He's going to say they're both gold, because you're not looking for, is that one a different color? Because you just see the whole body's gold, and then just this one little part is silver. You're not looking for that. So the guy probably just painted it all gold or drew it all gold.
And guess what? They're for sale. And all of them have gold legs. It's not just like one. There's a bunch of these left over of this residual, and there's some really good pictures of it.
The reason why he's on eBay is because he used to have this coin safe that he got rid of, and now he looked it up on eBay and is showing us what it was. And the issue with this example of the Mandela Effect is, so just for reference, it's the eBay listings all say this product is from 1995. While you might think that this is could fall under the same explanation as the games, it probably doesn't, and that's because this Lucasfilm isn't so exact with their toys. And the reason this one probably has 2 gold-colored legs is just the cost it would take to print 2 different colored legs, 2 different color paints. They still make toys today. I saw this C-3PO action figure at Kmart the other day, and if I end up buying it before I'm done making this video, I'll throw up a picture of it, or I'll just find one off Google. But I'll throw up a picture onto the screen of this figure, and he has 2 gold legs, and he's made in 2018. It's because it costs less. I believe there's a Funko figure that has 2 gold legs. It just costs less. You can also see the R2-D2 doesn't seem like it's the highest quality thing. The painting doesn't look that high quality, so these clearly aren't made to be exact movie replicas. These are just kind of like, oh, you could tell that's C-3PO and R2-D2. That's really the point of this safe.
So my friend Miguel here, we hang out on chats, and he kept showing off this cool toy or keepsake, and I'm gonna have him tell you all about it and show you it. So go ahead, Miguel, take over.
So basically, Miguel spends 2.5 minutes explaining how he acquired the toy and like why he was looking for it, because he was looking for something to support the Mandela Effect theory when it has to do with "No, I am your father." So he explains how he was looking for something that had to do with that, and he spends too long on it, and it has nothing to do with the Mandela Effect. He also explains the toy, and he kind of like shows it off to the camera. Talks about its like features, like you can hang it up as an ornament. It has nothing to do with the Mandela Effect, so I'm cutting that out.
That little button that it has on the side, if you press it, it'll say there's 2 lines that it has on the voice recording on the toy, and one of the lines, of course, it says, "Luke, I am your father." But it's awesome because it actually shows us evidence that this particular toy is like what we call in the Mandela circles is that it's residual. So,
Miguel, just because a Star Wars toy quotes a movie incorrectly does not mean it is evidence for the Mandela Effect.
I want to play it for you, but before I get into that, I want to show you the box that it came in. So in case you guys want to actually buy this toy, I think it's still, you can purchase it on Amazon.
Are you sponsored by Amazon?
You remember when this came out? Does it have
Yes, this toy actually says, like on the box, it was made in 2005, and by LucasArts nonetheless. So
the phrase "Luke, I am your father" has only become a big phrase recently. Now, obviously, within the past 25 years recently, not like the past 2 years recently. But if this ornament was from around the 80s to mid 90s, that would be a better case for the Mandela Effect. But considering this toy came out in a time where the phrase "Luke, I am your father" was already big, I don't think it really says anything. It just says that the phrase has gotten bigger than the movie.
Luke, I am your father.
That's pretty awesome, because every time I hear that, I get kind of excited. And
Wait, hold on. Can you play that again?
Luke, I am your father.
Okay, I'm going to try and make that, I'm going to try and edit that together with clips from The Empire Strikes Back. See if we can't edit that, because it sounds exactly like another time he said Luke earlier in the movie, and it sounds like the creators of this toy just thought, oh, that phrase is more well known with general people, not like the big Star Wars fans, but just people who casually know about Star Wars know "Luke, I am your father." So let's make it that. So I'm gonna try and edit this together.
Luke, you do not yet realize your importance.
So first we'll take this, and then we'll add this.
No, I am your father.
And then we'll put them both together like this.
Luke, I am your father.
Okay, now let's hear them both side by side.
Luke, I am your father. Luke, I am your father.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can tell, but that clip uses the exact same fucking Luke pronunciation, the exact same scene as the one I just made. I made that in 5 minutes. I'm sure Hallmark could make it in a lot less time and a lot better done. I barely did that competently. I did that in like less than 5 minutes, and it sounds almost exactly like the Hallmark version. That's because it is edited. It is clearly edited. You can do it yourself, like I just did, very poorly. I could probably spice that up and make it look a lot nicer, but I'm not going to, just to prove that it's not hard to edit it and sell it. That's exactly what they did.
I went ahead and got me a copy of this toy, so I can actually have residual from the Mandela Effect. Was really excited when I was kind of excited when I heard it, because I was like, man, this is awesome. We got residual from something that we say that, people are telling us that there is no such thing as "Luke, I am your father."
See, even the doctor's laughing at how silly it is of an idea to say that you own a piece of alternate history.
This toy was made by LucasArts, and there's, it's compelling evidence to show us that our memories are, They are
Okay.
correct.
Guys, just because LucasArts edits a line of dialogue from the movie and puts it into a toy doesn't mean it's evidence for the Mandela effect.
One other small thing I did find is I went back to the Star Wars Christmas special, that terrible tragedy, and I did find a picture of C-3PO in cartoon form. Unfortunately, the C-3PO that appears in the show, they never show his legs. But in the cartoon, they do. And guess what? They're both gold. There is not a silver leg.
Dr. Lupo, come on. The holiday special came out in 1978. That is years before the video game I talked about earlier with the non-canon Yavin run, 1993, Star Wars Rebel Assault. So obviously back in this time, when the holiday special came out, Lucasfilm didn't really care about continuity and what colors certain characters had on their bodies, like what color of his leg was, or what a certain character's wearing. That wasn't like top priority. There wasn't any continuity concerns back at that time. There's a movie that came out in 1985 called Ewoks Battle for Endor, and in that movie the Ewoks speak English. Now, if you saw that movie, would you say, wait, well, I don't remember the Ewoks speaking English in Return of the Jedi, so that must mean there's some Mandela effect going on? See, the continuity wasn't a big concern at the time. That Ewok movie, I might have said, came out in 1985. I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but there's just, at this time in the franchise, continuity wasn't a big concern.
The thing about this, though, is I don't really want to do a lot of these videos because I don't need any more proof.
Doc, you have zero proof.
Basically, this stuff is for new people that are still struggling. Is the Mandela effect real or not? Is this really happening?
Oh, so you mean like logical people?
And something like this can help sway them over, get rid of their logical mind and all this, and have them move over to their right brain a little.
Oh, so that's exactly what you mean.
People have literally watched stuff change as they email each other. So somehow our perception's getting hacked in a way that I think it's important that we document as much stuff as we can find before it disappears or gets changed and fixed.
So if even electronic items such as emails can be altered, what stops any other documented piece of evidence, and once again I use that term loosely, what stops that from being altered by the Mandela effect? Anyway, I guess the purpose of this video is, it's fun to think about the Mandela effect, just like, oh, that'd be crazy if this happened, or oh, what ways did my brain get tricked by everyday things, like the Kit Kat example, or even the Star Wars ones, or like the Febreze example. It's interesting to see how your brain slips up, but there's of course simple explanations for all of them. So yeah, I guess basically that's the video. Have thought experiments safely. Don't get on the edge of conspiracy theorist territory, and let me know if you like these types of videos. I'm having fun making them. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see you all next time. Goodbye.